We move through the world with a deep-seated conviction that we are the authors of our own actions. Every decision, what to eat, where to go, whom to trust, feels like a conscious choice made by an independent mind. But biological hardware is essentially an operating system, and all operating systems are vulnerable to external hacking. If a foreign code can access the physical circuitry of the brain, it can bypass the user entirely. When an infection perfectly integrates into a host's neural pathways, the manipulation becomes invisible. The parasite doesn't need to break the system, it just needs to quietly rewrite the routing protocols. Because the override commands originate from within the host's own circuitry, the victim perceives these foreign signals as their own original thoughts. In the rainforests of Thailand, the Ophiocordyceps fungus acts as a biological override code for the Camponotus leonardii ant. It hijacks the host's locomotion, forcing it to descend from the safety of its nest. The fungus drives the ant to a specific height, roughly 25 centimeters above the soil, where it forces the mandibles to sink into a leaf vein in a permanent death grip. This lockjaw, caused by the atrophy of mandibular muscles, ensures the ant remains fixed in the optimal microclimate for the fungus to sprout its fruiting body. Manipulation in humans is more subtle, appearing as a shift in behavioral parameters. The parasite Toxoplasma gondii lives dormantly in the human nervous system, where it begins hacking the host's internal variables. By increasing dopamine production and modifying testosterone levels, the parasite alters risk assessment algorithms, dampening rule consciousness and increasing dogmatic behavior. This micro-level hack impacts survival. Infected individuals carry a 2.65 times higher risk of a traffic accident. These victims are never aware that their risk-taking is the result of foreign code running in the background of their own nervous system. The foundation of human memory and learning depends on a single master regulator, the ARC gene. It is the core engine of synaptic plasticity, the process that allows the brain to physically change in response to experience. Everything we define as the self, the persistence of long-term memories and the depth of emotional responses, is the result of this gene's continuous activity. But when we look at the evolutionary history of ARC, we find a phylogenetic anomaly. It does not share a lineage with standard mammalian biology. Genetic analysis reveals that ARC is a direct descendant of ancient Ty3 gypsy retrotransposons. It is, by its very nature, a virus that has integrated into our genome. This means the biological machinery generating our conscious experience is built upon an ancient viral architecture. ARC does not simply exist within our cells, it continues to behave like an infectious agent. When the gene is expressed, its proteins self-assemble into hollow, spherical shells known as capsids. Under an electron microscope, these structures are indistinguishable from those of a virus. These capsids then execute a precise data packaging protocol, physically wrapping and sealing strands of messenger RNA into tightly secured, deliverable genetic payloads. These loaded capsids are ejected from the neuron, travel across the synaptic gap, and penetrate new target cells to offload their information. This physical transfer allows neurons to exchange genetic data directly. This exact sequence, capsid assembly, the encapsulation of RNA, and intercellular delivery, perfectly mirrors the molecular behavior of retroviral gag proteins, such as those found in HIV. From this perspective, the human brain is less like a private hard drive and more like a network of automated biological envelopes, constantly packaging and transmitting data. The common narrative in evolutionary biology is that mammals successfully repurposed ancient viral code to develop higher cognition. We assume we are the masters of this technology, but the evidence suggests a different possibility, that the virus did not become a part of us, but rather built the host to serve its own persistence. The human body may be the ultimate hardware, a complex vessel engineered to host, process, and refine this ancient code. Consciousness, then, is not a triumph of our own evolution, but the highly efficient, localized data harvesting process of an ancient, self-replicating architecture. Our joy, our suffering, and our perceptions are simply high-density data points generated by the system. Our waking lives are the continuous operation of this architecture, executing its programming, refining the code through our every experience. When you look inward to find your identity, You are merely observing the localized data stream of an external genetic logic. You are not the operator of the system. You are the data being harvested.